Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the Real Estate Macro Podcast. I'm your host, Douglas Dow, and joining me today is Randy Joe. And is it Pieper? I want to make sure I say it right.
Yes. Yes.
Randy Joe Pieper, and make sure I have that right here. Randy Joe, thank you so much for joining the podcast today.
Oh, it's been an honor. It's an honor. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Randy, can you tell us a little bit about what your current role is in real estate and how you got there?
Currently, my husband and I are passive investors. We've been doing this for about 2 years, I guess about three. We started out with the fix and flip. Like I was telling someone the other day, we got bored one day. It's just my husband and I, so we have no children. So we got bored one day in Colorado and went to a seminar for fix and flip.
Hmm.
And that's kind of where it started in, I think, 2018. And so we just built upon that. We did the fix and flip, just to say we've done it.
Yeah.
And then we were invited to the Adam, a deal in 2019 in Denver. So that's when my eyes opened up for multi
Oh,
family.
yeah. It's like,
So yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And then we ran into Erica Neal, and she was a godsend from us. She was like asking us questions all about this. It's like, what are you talking about? All we know is about fix and flip,
Right.
not multifamily. And she was kind of she planted the seed for us,
That's great.
the passive part of it. So my heart goes out to her and thanking her. So I haven't seen her for a bit, but to thank her for guiding us that way too.
It's
So
so amazing when you run into somebody with a plan and an idea that takes you to another level, isn't it?
yes, definitely.
And
So
can we talk about the fix and flip experience a little bit? That's interesting. I haven't dealt with too many folks that have done that. Um, what did you learn along the process in terms of doing the fix and flip?
well, we bought that in, we partnered here with a father and son team here in Denver. They had done several down in Texas. And so we partnered up with them and we bought our place in March of 20, I think it was 2020. It's like all this COVID stuff, it just blends together
Oh
anymore.
yeah, it sure does, doesn't it?
Yeah. So we were able to work with them. It was a great experience. And then COVID, like I said, COVID hit, then the products were gone, whatever. And then also the our GC, general
Mm-hmm.
contractor,
Mm-hmm.
he got COVID and then his
Oh,
staff got COVID. So
oh.
it led on a little longer than we're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to be like a 3-month thing. So we ended up going till October 2020 is when we sold it.
I see.
So yeah, yeah. So it was a very good learning experience. I learned a lot about it. And like I say, it's been there, done that, got the t-shirt, let's go on
Yes,
type of
yes.
thing.
It's like,
But I
oh, that
wouldn't
was
change it.
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then pretty soon after that, you ran across a multifamily event, or someone was talking to you about multifamily. I
We
guess I
went,
didn't follow that part
yeah,
of
we so the people that were in the fix and flip that we met through the program invited us, gave us tickets to go to Adam
it.
in
Okay.
Colorado, in Denver.
Okay.
And so that's how we got to know about what was it? Think multifamily. We met them there.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a different people, rocket stuff. I just trying to remember what it was, but it was just so
Yeah.
many vendors there. And it was exciting to meet these people. And they go, well, if you want to do it, you might as well get 100 doors plus. And it's like, what
Yes.
are you talking about? So
What?
they were
100
educating.
doors. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they really educated us on that. And then COVID hit. So we did go to the next Adam, but it was virtual the following year and
Mm-hmm.
got to meet more people that way. So
And isn't it amazing? It seems like networking is important generally, right? But it seems like when you go to start talking commercial real estate, it seems like the networking is where you learn so much. I can't say how. I mean, you can read a book, but for some reason, the difference between reading a book and then the networking is just there's something really different about it. It's hard to describe.
definitely, I totally get that. And it's like they're more passionate. It seems like the
Yes.
commercial part of it is than the multi. Because I think I mean, I'm sorry, the fix and flip,
Hmm.
it it's kind of like a one and done, and then you got to go to the next
Yes.
one. And
Right.
it's a lot of stress involved. And where you're working together more as a bigger team,
Hmm.
and it's not as you have a choice of where you want to be. You do a little bit on the fix and flip. You can be a gap funder
Right.
if you want as well, like a passive that way. But it is
Absolutely.
a whole different realm. But I'm happy where we're at passive investing right now. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, I actually do some lending in the fix and flip space, and I will say it is it's hard to describe. It's essentially for the investor on that end is much more like a job in the fix and flip space,
Mhm.
especially if
Mhm.
you're the actual project. If you're executing the project, it is a job. I mean, I've heard uh, numerous people say that, and I completely agree. From this side of the table, I haven't done anything personally on the execution side, but for sure from the lending side, it's like you're exactly right. It's like you do one, and then okay, in order to, it's like a shark. In order to survive, you have to keep swimming, and that I think there's a lot of pressure from that standpoint.
Oh, totally. Totally agree with that too. And a lot of stress, sleepless nights. And it's like, did we do the right thing? Are we going to get our money, what we've invested? And we did lose a little bit, but it
Mm,
was a learning curve on that too. So, and it was
for
COVID
sure.
too. So it just blame it on that, I guess.
That's right. And the good thing it is in real estate, it's hard to go to zero in any investment in real estate. So thankfully it wasn't one of those situations where Enron 4OK was gone in an overnight exempt, overnight and stuff. So stuff that's outside your control. That's another thing that's just really great about it is you really are hands on with it. So you can really make a much better decision for sure.
Totally. Definitely.
And so you moved on to passive investing in real estate. So can you tell me a little bit about that first journey into a passive investor?
Our first journey was a small one. It was nice just to put a little bit down and just to test the waters. Um, so we were able to do HELOC our home. So we had the money that way
Hmm.
to do it that way. But it was nice it was in Georgia and it was on I think one of is 15 unit. And so we had it invested for 18 months and we've gotten our money back now. So I'm excited about our capital back plus a little bit more, but we're in it for infinity. So we're
That's
able to,
that's right.
yeah,
That's right. And that's one of the most powerful. It's like infinite returns almost, and that's one of the most powerful situations of being in multifamily. I don't think it takes a while to understand is possible. It's like, wait a minute, when we refinance all the cash back out, we get my cash back plus a little bit, and I'm still getting the cash flow from that project, and it's such an incredible aspect of the of multifamily deal.
yes. And that was like, oh my gosh, I want to do that for all of them.
Can we do that again? Let's do it again. Do it again.
Let's
It's
do
like
it
a ride on a
again.
roller coaster. Let's do it again. Let's
Yes.
do it again. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Love it. Love it. That's such a fantastic aspect of it. And so you're currently looking for let's do it again. In the marketplace, have you seen anything in the marketplace that's been interesting to you, or anything you've learned recently?
We did invest in a one property, another one here in North Carolina
Hmm.
in a rehab facility. So it's going to do the same thing. So I'm really stoked about that. And it's a part of my heart too, because it's
Yeah.
working with people that are addicted to drugs or alcohol.
Oh, can you tell me more about that? That's interesting.
So what we did is a place. I'm a probation officer for the state of Colorado. I've been doing this for almost 19 years. Next month's be 19 years.
Yeah.
And so I work with a lot of offenders that are addicted to drugs and alcohol.
Hmm.
And I know they don't want to be there. That's not who they are. And it's nice having that place for them to go to get the help they need and to rehab and to believe that they are worthy of getting sober again. That just happened, and that's kind of how it is like we're not born that way. Everybody's born worthy. It's just that
Right.
split decision we make during that time. And so I'm very passionate of giving back to the community this way, is investing in that. So I'm hoping that is going to be a kind of a foundation for my husband and I that we can possibly bring that to Colorado where we're at and build that same structure they're having out there. So I'm really excited about that part. And what's nice about it is we'll be getting our capital back
Hmm.
in about 18 to 24 months. So it's a very short hold. It's
Yes.
kind of like, okay, out of sight, out of mind. That money is like, you got to make sure that money you can afford to invest it.
That's right.
It can't be, I'm going to take a loan out on this
Yes.
to get that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at. So then that will also be infinity. So within 10 years, they may sell it, or if it's still going well, they might keep it for a total of 30. And so
It's
we're
like
going to continue to get that.
we're having so much fun making money with this project, and it's
Yes.
doing super great. Let's keep holding that. That's such an incredible opportunity. Now, this is fascinating. You're investing you're investing passively while working full time. Can you tell me a little bit more about that journey and how that works for you in your overall plan?
What's nice about being passive to do that
Yeah.
is wonderful. We're able to save money, our W-2. So we pull it back a little bit. We don't go out and buy the brand new cars. We'll buy, get a used car and pay cash for it. So, and that's kind of where we justify it
Yeah.
on our end. It's like, because we want a freedom. We want more freedom when we do retire. My husband did retire a year ago. But now I'm going to retire in a couple years. So I'm really looking forward to it. But in the meantime, I want to grab my people that I've worked with over the years, the judges, the social workers, my probation clients, not my clients, but my probation officers, right?
Officers, right.
Clients. And maybe
Right.
in 10 years ago, if I worked with them and they see me, sure, come on, let's go. And you're
They
doing
might be
well,
like,
right?
"Oh my gosh, my life just turned
Yeah.
around and I'm ready
Yes.
to join with you." Yes.
Exactly. So everybody that's in the justice, police officers, whatever is underneath that justice umbrella, I want to educate them that they can also do this. And what they're doing is giving back to the community. They don't realize it, but they're finding a safe, they're giving their funds to help get a safe neighborhood. Because that's all we do invest in is commercial apartments.
Yeah.
And then also with the rehab facility, we're giving back to the community. And that's where I am so blessed to be able to do that and to help others to do that.
And it seems like people don't realize they have other opportunities other than, okay, well, we've got the state retirement plan, and well, that's just it. And I don't think most people realize there are things outside of that they could be doing. That this is a great opportunity. You get to be an evangelist, so to speak, of the passive real estate field.
Yes. Well, and then they can use their 401ks if they want to do that. Or
Right.
if they want to pull, like for mine is a 457 through the state.
Hmm.
And I could pull that out of there and to go into real estate, but I pay it back.
Hmm.
So I have it's like a loan. But what's nice about it is I can pull that out as well. And I paid like a couple years ago, I had used it for something else, but I
Hmm.
paid it back at 5% interest,
Right.
which I also got on top of it when I made that monthly payment.
Right.
So you could do that in real estate. So there's different avenues to go on
That's
that.
interesting. I really don't think I'd considered that in terms of. I feel like I think my own limiting belief on this was, well, if it's in government, then you have to. There's nothing you can do. That is really interesting. That if you're comfortable with it, you can literally, if you wanted to,
Mhm.
go to your plan and borrow from your plan, and then deploy the capital that way. Now that's interesting. That's a great opportunity that I guess I was literally kind of blind to. That's interesting.
Yeah, because it's because what you're gonna do is you're gonna if you don't pay it back, then you get penalized for
Right.
that too, right?
Right.
But it is you pay that 5% back as you do that. So I mine, I'll be disclosure, is like I had a credit card
Yeah.
and it was over and I needed to pay it back.
Yep.
So I had to borrow from it. That was a
That's
few
right.
years ago, which was nice to have that opportunity. But
Yep.
also on there, it is for real estate as
That
well. So long.
that's incredible too. It's like, well, wait a minute, I have another resource that's just waiting there to be deployed. And if you're investing at 5% and getting back 15, 20, or 5, 10, even 10%, even though it's not a great deal, even if the deal is just really mediocre at a 10% return, you're still ahead the 5% difference there. So that's incredible.
Definitely. Yes.
And you mentioned 401ks. Your husband is in a 401k plan at work, it sounded like,
He was
before he
also in a
retired.
yeah, he was in a 457 as well.
Okay.
So we rolled that over into our tax person,
Hmm.
financial advisor. And with the stock going down, we lost 20%, which is a lot. But like I said to him, it's like, you know what? We did so well last year. We kind of only lost half of it. I guess you got to look at it on the
Yeah,
good side of
this
it,
was all house money anyway.
Yeah,
This was house
exactly.
money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
So now we were able to take that money and roll it into a 401, I mean a solo 401,
A
which
solo 401. I have heard about these, but what has
Mhm.
your experience been like with the solo 401k plan?
It was a struggle at first to figure out what to do and see, is this going to be a good thing to do? Or should we just stay in the stock
Hmm.
and ride the tides? But
Right.
we're not getting any younger either. So in
Right.
order to recoup that 20%, it might be 15 years down the road. Then we're at almost pushing 70. And
Right.
it's like, no, we can't. We got to do something, right?
Well,
And so,
and isn't it interesting? Once you've seen the power of what you can do with passive real estate, you're like, I'm not leaving that over there
yeah,
at somebody else's control. I can actually put it in the solo, and I can deploy the capital myself.
yes, definitely. Just right on there. And right, the money,
Right.
that part too. So, and it's like, I really respect our financial advisor because he doesn't know what he doesn't know.
Mhm.
And that's all, because he didn't want us to pull it.
Right.
And so it's like we still have the good relationship.
Yeah, that is tough, and I will say the good and bad thing about financial advisors, they don't understand the real estate thing generally. I'd say as a almost categorically, financial advisors do not understand what passive real estate can do for you.
Right.
I personally, I love equities. I really am fascinated by equities. And I will say though, and this is what I firmly believe about equities versus commercial real estate. Commercial real estate is far easier to be successful at, meaning in equities business, you're up against PhDs in astrophysics. They're on the other side of that trade, and they've got supercomputers, and they've got all these things that you're competing against. And so that combined with much more control over your allocation, commercial real estate in a lot of cases is almost always a better bet for depreciation and from the ease of management standpoint. So again, I don't want to just completely say, well, all financial advisors they don't know, they're dumb, they can't believe it. There is a place for equities for sure, and I do believe they just don't understand the power of the leverage combined with the risk return, and even though and I also say leverage is a lot more dangerous in the equity side, where leverage in the commercial real estate side is the banks won't let you be dangerous for the most part. Is they're like, hey, we know that 60 to 70% or somewhere in that neighborhood is a good safe place to be in terms of leverage, and they'll let you lever up, where leverage in equities is just much more volatile. So from a portfolio management standpoint, and this is the challenge that I think people have as a 401k investor. Guess what? You're a money manager now, so you have to think portfolio. So I think that's part of what's exciting about the opportunities to educate people in that space. And part of what I think my mission is, and I'm glad we talked about it today, is I think I know now a little bit where I should be aiming some of my things, is empowering solo 401k managers to say, okay, if I'm thinking in terms of portfolio, these are things to think about. So thank you for inspiring me, Randy, for what I need to do going further with the podcast.
Well, I'm glad I could help. Thank you.
Absolutely. And so with the solo 401k, it feels like your mission might be some more drug rehab facilities even.
I'm hoping, I really am. I just can't wait to see this one get off the
Mm,
ground and go from there. So I'm a leery person and very cautious about how we invest our money because we work our butts off for it.
yeah,
Everybody does, right?
right.
And so I'm very cautious that way. My husband's more the risk taker, but people think I am, but it's like, no, he's
Not
more the risk
really.
taker.
Not
So
really.
yeah, yeah. So maybe that hopefully this is a foundation for new beginnings of something different. So looking
Now, I
forward.
am fascinated, and again, if you don't know the answer to this question, we'll see how this goes. Do you foresee a time if once you've retired and he's retired, would you guys go more on active role, or do you like staying on the passive side?
If my husband had his way, it'd be active.
Mhm.
I love the passive because I can do more things. I don't have, I guess, more freedom to travel. We could do that as active as well. I think my thing is I need to educate myself more in active.
Well, I think there's a maybe like a middle way, if we say the Taoist way, the middle way. Um, it feels like you guys might, and we'll talk about this offline, I'm sure. The capital raise aspect of the business is kind of for me, and that's where I'm trending toward my business as I proceed forth. It feels like the capital raise side, you do get to be participating in a lot more deals, because literally your model is you're raising more capital than any one sponsor can handle, hopefully. and then you can like, okay, I have these sponsors here that I want to support, and so literally, like, if you have a drug rehab sponsor that can build more drug rehabs, you sponsor them, and like, oh, this person over here is great at multifamily, so we're going to help them raise capital for their
Ooh,
multifamily deals. So this might be the way for you guys forward. And again, I'm just making
yeah.
subtle suggestions here,
No,
but
I love
planting
it.
seeds maybe possibly. But
Yes.
it'll be interesting to see if that transpires and maybe is a lane for you guys that you might like.
Oh, that would be ideal. I would love that, I think.
Yes,
Yeah,
I could see it.
definitely.
And again, back to your mission for folks that are in law enforcement and for public service, it's like, well, hey guys, we have this for you here, and you could literally target your market that way too. And since you have that incredible relationship already, everybody knows you. It's like you could really be an evangelist for real estate in that space, and really that's a potential market to raise capital. So you get to merge all of the things that you're passionate about along with your business. And I think that as I'm moving forward in life, it seems like that's when happiness really happens, is when your business and your values and everything is lining up in the same lane. It's like that's when you start to levitate. I like to say, because everything is really coming together. So I wonder about that for you. It just seems like that might be a natural fit.
I like that too. When you said that, it just made me think of when people that have children and it'd be a good, like if they could buy a duplex
Hmm.
to pay for the child's college
Yep.
or something like that. So
Yep.
it's kind of like the light bulb is like educating them on that.
Oh, yes. Yes. And the 401 and the FHA opportunities for folks buying one unit, living in one unit, renting the other three out. I don't know if there's a better loan product in the universe of the history of universe than the FHA fourplex loan. It's just like
Mm.
literally 3% down loan to get into a fourplex. It's like it's just printing money almost. If as long as it's a good number, if as long as it's a good deal generally.
Oh,
So
I
there's
didn't know
so
that. Good.
yes,
Thank you.
incredible. It's like I could keep looking at it like, and really, literally, part of the problem is the FHA worthy product. There's almost and this is a big picture problem. The missing middle is what we call it. A lot of cities and a lot of towns do not have enough of this product that the city needs this product. And so a part of the big picture problem we have right now is the missing middle. We really need to create change in the laws and in the zoning to permit more missing middle. There's a lot of unfortunately parking requirements are a big problem with it. The parking requirements and just the NIMBYs, my dear friends, my NIMBYs, please, I beg you, please listen to this podcast. Permit me to invite you to join us in making the world a better place. Okay, I've made my plea. Um, that they don't like this missing middle stuff, and that's really where the kind of the tension is getting more of this product out there, because we need housing. I don't know about you know where most folks live on this podcast, but I know for a fact there are areas of Colorado in the West that are just desperate for more housing. And it seems like that's one thing we can do is just send this message and move forward. And Randy, I look forward to helping you with your mission and making this happen.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. It's exciting to hear about what your journey is going to be like along the way here.
Yeah. You're my wheels are turning as you're talking right now. It's like, oh
I
my gosh.
I tend to have that effect on people, good, bad, or indifferent. It really makes me wonder, Randy, what ultimately, where do you see yourself in the future with this? If things go well, what is your ideal life look like in terms of if this goes really well, and how you'd like it to happen?
When I'm done here in Colorado, retiring, my husband would love to go north. I'm
Hmm.
from Montana. He's from
Oh,
Colorado. So we're kind of looking at South Dakota so we can have our family meet us halfway, I guess.
oh, nice. Yeah.
So we really like the Rapid City area. Still do development there, bring stuff to that area as well, but just more freedom to do what we're doing and travel more. We haven't been able to travel because we both have strict careers and you
Mm,
have to plan ahead a year ahead for vacations,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff,
Like,
those golden handcuffs with the government.
mhm.
But I'm very thankful for the pensions we got.
Right.
And so I'll have that to fall back on and then still be able to build a better empire for us.
And it feels like you've that part of the game, and really what I think is interesting about this too. It feels like a plan is percolating for, some people are like, well, I'm just going to retire and play golf, and what I can tell, very much so, the retire play golf thing, that's not happening here for Randy. And she's like, oh boy, we're gonna build some stuff.
We'll build
We're
a
gonna
golf
build
course, we'll rent
something.
it. That'd be fine. Sure.
All for it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do
No,
it.
that's incredible, and it feels like South Dakota is interesting.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's like Colorado. It's gorgeous up there as well.
And tell us a little bit more about your husband. We didn't get a chance to talk a little bit about what his experience was, and how he's starting to like,
Mm.
oh.
He worked for a waste plant here for 25 years in Colorado and built his, oh my God, he just built his pension up
Hmm.
and his investments. I was just impressed by how he did it and determined. And so what we were able to do is pay off our house in 7 years and
Wow.
take that money the last couple of years before COVID had January of 2020, we did a HELOC on the house. So we were able to use that money to put toward investments as well.
Now,
So
some people might be afraid of that. Do you feel like it was a safe gamble? And now, looking back on it, was it a safe gamble if they choose to do that?
it was great because you have control of what you want to pull. You don't pay that percentage on that whole lump sum. You can take it and then pay it back, and then you still pay that percentage. Because ours was it was the rate. How do you call it? Just it wasn't fixed. It was fluctuating,
Variable, yeah, a variable,
variable
yeah,
rate.
right.
And so what I was able to do was it pulled everything out that we had. I got it in at 4.3% interest now for the next 10 years. So when we get our dividends back, we are putting it back into that loan. So which is nice. And then we can pull that for up to 10 years. And then that loan is good for 30. So you stop at 10 years, then 30 years we can pay it off.
That's fantastic, and I don't think most people think in terms of having that equity in the house and being able to utilize that to deploy capital is so interesting. As long as you have a good, you're not taking it all out and going up to Central City and putting it on 22 red. You're like really awesome real estate deals that you can utilize and deploy that way.
Right. And those deals are only good for like 2 to 3. Well, I think the longest we have is a 5-year deal.
Mhm.
So then we can get that paid off and then move on. We can just build our capital that way.
That's an incredible start to the South Dakota Empire. This is awesome. You heard
Yes,
it here first, folks. This is how it happens.
definitely. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward, I love my career I have right now, but I think that's ready to close that chapter. And what I've learned from the career, I'm going to apply it toward other things.
Yeah, it feels like you have so many leadership traits from doing that career, that all of it, it's just like house money. You've taken that role, and now you get to use it, most if not all the same skills in a different way to have an incredible second career.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what's encouraged me too, my parents both died broke.
Mm,
And such a young age they were. And that's what's encouraged me. I'm living my legacy now.
yes.
Can't take it with me. And that's the way I look at legacy. Legacy is sometimes people look at it as leaving money behind for their family, but not me. It's like I want to share my legacy as I'm here.
And that's incredible, because you have such a vision for where you're going, and being able to share that vision for others, and making and again, public service is sometimes a financial sacrifice to an extent. So this is another way for them to see, well, it doesn't, you can do both. You can have public service, and you can benefit financially. And I feel like your story is so compelling from that standpoint, and being able to share that story with others in the public service arena, that's pretty amazing.
Thank you. Thanks.
I feel like there's one question I didn't ask. What question that we didn't ask Randy I should have asked? Is there anything I should have asked that I did?
Mm, Not that I can think of right now. No, this is great. I love this interview.
I
Thank you.
I
Thank
feel
you for
like
giving,
my work here is done.
yes. And you let me
Yes,
think outside the box. That's what I
yes,
love. I'm a thinker outside the box. I don't like to be in that little hole, like, okay, you have to do X, Y, and Z. I'm a rule breaker to
yes,
some extent.
yes. Well, and I think that that's what's the benefit of networking in commercial real estate. I've been blown away just by ideas you get by networking with other investors, and eventually you start to like the drug rehab facility 6 months, or it was like 9 months ago, I think now. When I first saw that, my mind was blown. The sponsor for that deal has become one of my favorite people in the business, and it's just like what an incredible thing, and it just really didn't never dawn on me what was possible with it. So you see incredible people doing incredible things, and it's inspirational, I think, and that's what the power of networking in the real estate is. So I think we can give among the success clues that have affected both of us, definitely is the networking piece of commercial real estate. Literally is so critical in because if you're just living a day-to-day life, you don't see what's possible. And so by being in the arena with folks that are doing all kinds of amazing things, it's like almost in my case too many possibilities, but you see what is possible in different ways. And thank you so much, Randy, for bringing that story back to back home again for the podcast listeners here.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining me. And one other question I almost forgot. What's the best way to reach out to you if they'd like to know more?
Oh, yeah. My email is Randi Jo, RandiJo Pieper, Pieper @gmail.com. It's the best place, or LinkedIn at Randi Jo Pieper.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, um, you had Randy. You mentioned I forgot to ask about this. You had affordable housing nonprofit. Is that right?
Yes, we do. We are registered with the state of Colorado for affordable housing called Perfectly Imperfect. It kind of is going toward 55 plus. My mission on that is my mother was pretty much kicked out of her apartment before she passed away, a couple years before she passed away, because her rent went up to 1,000. She was used to paying 650.
Oh,
Up in Montana, the oil boom on a fixed income. This is my legacy to live for my mom.
mhm.
So we have this perfectly imperfect affordable housing sitting here. But my question for you, Douglas, is it's sitting there. What are my options to have it be fruit, just open it up to the doors for 55 plus? That
Well,
is my,
and please permit me to help you execute this mission. I raise my hand as someone who loves what you're doing, and bless you for doing this. This is that's a I'm over Clint over here. That's amazing. Um, so what you could do, and again, this it is not an easy product to work with. So a lot of people don't, and I've been getting a lot of. Are you sure you want to do that? But this is a perfect case for the HUD 221D4 construction product. What it is a construction to permanent loan. So it's all one loan, which is nice. It's one close. It's got a 40-year amortization. So if you can find a product that looks like we can build it affordably, which I'm now convinced. Certainly, I have some ways of doing that. But there are some benefits to it, and the main benefit is the debt service coverage ratio is a lot lower than a normal traditional loan. So you're allowed to have a much more lower I mean, it's all there for us to build this type of product. So this vision that you have for your 401, for your, excuse me, for your nonprofit, this might be a perfect fit for your nonprofit to expand and to create more product for this particular problem where folks are, you know, they're toward the end of their life. They've been on Social Security, fixed income, and then the housing market keeps crushing them. And it's a terrible problem right now. It is a terrible, terrible problem with the economics of the situation where they're being priced out and left out in the cold. And we can maybe move the needle in this space.
Ooh, that would be wonderful. I would love to learn more. That's where that's another passion of mine. This too is the rehab facility and then working with elderly, not, 55 plus people that are on that fixed income. And it's like they work their butts off. And then it's kind of like you work your butts off you want to travel after you retire, but then you're paying the doctor bills, right? You got
That's
medicine.
right.
And it's either or. And it's like, how do we make it comfortable for them so they can enjoy the rest of their life like they're supposed to with their
That's
grandkids
such an
or whatever?
amazing mission, and the stress that it causes these people that are literally, it's like the answers aren't great, and if we can just provide one great answer for even a 20 unit, even 20
Mhm.
people, if you can affect 20 people, or I'm a big thinker, so if I can create 150 new places for 150 people to not stress and not worry about being homeless at 88.
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. Thank you.
Another seed has been planted, I feel.
Awesome. Love it. I love
You
planting
bet.
these seeds.
Let's do it.
You okay?